Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, an audit outlines possible misuse of funds by the former head of the Valley's transit system. Also tonight, how a local computing research center finds solutions to real-world problems, and we'll discuss how the arts are helping veterans. That's next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. A City of Phoenix audit reveals that the former CEO of the Valley's metro system received about $250,000 in potentially inappropriate payments and reimbursements. The Arizona Republic broke this story, and here now with more is Republic columnist Lori Roberts. Good to see you again. Thanks for being here.
See you.
All right, let's do some background here. Who is Stephen Banta, and what are we finding out that he really truly did?
Stephen Banta was from 2010 until just this past January the CEO of Valley Metro, which is the organization that runs the light rail and the bus system. As CEO, it seems he was a rather free spending guy. The Republic's Craig Harris broke a series of stories earlier this year calling into question the money that he was spending on different things, lavish hotel stays, big taxpayer fund dinners. It led to his resignation, and it also led to the board finally deciding to do an audit of Valley Metro spending and Stephen Banta's spending in particular. And today the results of that audit are out.
Yeah, $315,000 of either unallowed or questionable expenses. Questionable expenses because they can't get the documentation to back up what he put in there.
Because there is no documentation, and some of it just outright misuse of funds. I think about $41,000 they've pinned to him as just plain old disallowed funds that were approved by a rubber stamping CFO, and the board that is supposed to oversee this organization just AWOL.
I was going to ask next. I mean, okay, and Craig Harris did a great job of unearthing all this stuff because apparently no one else was doing this. Who was watching this guy? Who was overseeing all this?
Only Craig. Craig is the only one. I mean, and that calls into question, where are the board members? There are two boards that oversee Valley Metro. One oversees the light rail and the other the bus system. A ton of city officials. Each city has a seat at the board. I've been to several of their board meetings. Mostly what I see is them eating the catered lunches that we provide to them. Very, very little oversight, and I think even they on their best day would say we dropped the ball here. But I think that is the question going forward, is how do you change things, and what kind of policies and oversight do you put into place to make sure that this doesn't happen again? As to the question of Stephen Banta, we still owe him $265,000 annuity for the 4 years of hard work that he put in. It was written into his contract that he would get this. My hope is that they'll say, no way, we're not giving it to you.
Yeah, bring it to court and let's figure out how far you can get on that. Speaking of court, the audit, we got $315,000. We got, as you mentioned, $41,000 of clear violations according to the audit, just clear conflicts and violations of policy and contract. $231,000, you can't find the documentation for it, so there's questions. You got staff expenses in question, about $43,000 according to Craig Harris. But the audit doesn't even include some stuff that the Attorney General did not want released because the Attorney General's office is still investigating this guy.
Well, when Harris was doing his stories, he was looking at his receipts from his expense accounts and finding all these lavish trips with big dinners at fancy places in other cities, and it would diligently list who he was entertaining as a client on behalf of Valley Metro. And so Craig started calling up some of these people, and lo and behold, they weren't even in the city at the time. So I think some of that is now being investigated by the Attorney General, and so the auditors in this case were asked, don't even touch that stuff. So there's more to come.
Indeed, and buying booze, flights to and from Portland, a lot of flights.
This man took 2 years at least to relocate. I mean, Portland's not that far away, is it? I don't know. Cost us about $300,000 for this guy to relocate. Among the expenses were 56 or 57, I can't remember which, round-trip tickets between here and Portland for relocation purposes, most of them taken by his wife. 56 Many of them first class, of course.
Of course. The dinners, $200 to $400 dinners. I mean, we're not talking, going to...
You don't do that?
No, we're not talking a Chipotle run here. I mean, we're talking, and you're saying, and Craig reported, that the people that he was supposed to be entertaining were what, home watching TV? They weren't even there.
They weren't even there. So the question is, was anybody there? And but we don't know that, and so we'll let that go. But the questions to come away with are, why do you have a free spending CEO? Why is the CFO, who's supposed to be approving his expenses, approving all this stuff? And where was the board, which are our city officials?
Where was the CFO, and where is he now?
Well, where is he now? As he conveniently decided to retire last month. When Scott Smith, former Mesa mayor, he's now the interim mayor. I think he's gone in there and he's starting to kick some booty and take some names and try to clean that place up.
The next question is interim CEO Scott Smith, of course, well known, mayor of Mesa and a political candidate for governor. But he's gone in there, haven't heard much about Valley Metro, which is probably a good thing. What's he doing there?
I think he's looking around, cleaning some stuff out, things that we wouldn't normally necessarily hear about. But I think that he will lead the charge, or at least I hope that he will lead the charge to say, we're not cutting that $265,000 annuity to you, Mr. Banta,
Is he leading a charge to make visible changes, substantial changes? I mean,
time will tell.
I was going to, but can we tell, is it seem like it's on the right track? I mean, are things...
I think, yeah.
Hard.
I mean, I think that he will go in there and try to clean it up. The question is, how many changes can you really make? Do we have a series of public officials who will sit on that board and actually act like a board instead of just looking for lunch and, do their jobs, which is oversight?
Last question. Any comment from Stephen Banta on any of this?
Not so far.
Not so
We have
far.
not heard from him.
All right. Laurie, good stuff, and congratulations to you, the Republican Craig Harris, of course, for keeping an eye on it. It's fascinating that the only person going after this was the reporter. I mean, it just seemed like there were so many people who should be overseeing this.
This isn't the first example of where Craig Harris starts poking around and things blow up. Remember the Fiesta Bowl? There have been a number of these things. The moral of the story is, if you're a public official, you see Craig Harris coming, you better have some clean hands.
Yes, gotcha. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Get the inside scoop on what's happening at Arizona PBS. Become an insider. You'll receive weekly updates on the most anticipated upcoming programs and events. Get the insider delivered to your email inbox. Visit azpbs.org to sign up today.
Tonight's edition of Arizona Technology and Innovation focuses on a computing research center that's looking for solutions to real-world problems. ASU's Center for Cognitive Ubiquitous Computing, or CUBIC, involves machine learning and pattern recognition, human-computer interaction, and haptics, which is a science dealing with the sense of touch. Joining us now is Satyaraman Panchanathan, founding director of CUBIC, to help explain what the heck we're talking about here. What are we talking about here?
Good evening, Ted. So CUBIC is Center for Cognitive Ubiquitous Computing, as you said. Jargons aside, what it is basically, when we envisioned it in the year 2000, which is now many years ago, we said, if the world is going to be surrounded by computing devices on you, potentially inside you, and on you is becoming a lot of reality these days, and around you in the environment, a lot of computing devices. If you were to have an environment like this, how might we put this to use in terms of providing services for individuals who really need those services? And so we started off with saying, maybe we should look at people who are individuals with disabilities, and how might we empower them to engage in their daily life activities and be more productive members of society.
So when we talk about machine learning and pattern recognition,
Correct.
what are we talking about?
So when you look at machines who are trying to do the tasks or help with tasks that the humans are doing, you are essentially learning from already what is being done right now by individuals with or without disabilities, and then those become then automated tasks that the computing devices can do through these machine learning algorithms and pattern recognition algorithms. And the humans can then start to focus on other tasks where machines are doing the tasks that they would normally have done otherwise. And this is, again, pretty commonplace these days.
It's almost robotics, isn't it?
Correct. It's almost robotics, exactly.
Yeah.
So you could think of them as assistive technologies or prosthetics of a different kind, which essentially help you to do the daily tasks, and you can focus on higher level tasks, if you may.
And are there other aspects of human-computer interaction involved as well?
Oh, absolutely. So when you talk about human-computer interaction, it means that you're able to provide the interfaces with the human naturally as possible. You talked about haptics in the introduction. What haptics is the sense of touch which we use, and we don't have devices that exploit the sense of touch as well as vision and hearing and so on, right? So how might we augment the perception of the individuals by having touch sensation provided to you and augmenting your sensory world perception?
And one excellent example of this, and tell us about this now, using this haptics to train surgeons, because surgeons use their hands.
Correct.
And it provides feedback, almost like go here, don't do this, don't do that. How does that work?
Correct. So basically when you're exploring simulation kind of an environment for teaching surgeons, let us say, now you're giving them a sense of how to, in these days we have laparoscopic surgery, small incision, you go in, and then you're essentially looking at the monitor and doing the surgery. What you want to provide then is a sense of feedback, touch feedback, so that when you're touching some tissue or you're touching an organ, you get a sense of feedback you would get normally when you're actually touching the tissue or the organ.
Interesting.
So
But you have to be trained a little bit beforehand, correct?
correct. Essentially, it's an alphabet, right? So when you start to speak, you get a sense of the alphabet of what it means to have these phonemes in speech. Likewise, in haptics, you also have to have a sense of what it means when you're touching things. What does that alphabet really communicate? So what do these sensations really mean? So there's a training process to get a sense of that understanding.
That's fascinating. I also read that this haptics is used to help the visually impaired, which makes sense. You emphasize one sense to make up for deficiencies in another.
Correct, exactly. So we started out working with individuals who are blind and visually impaired. Now, before we ended up designing things for them, we first asked, what is it that if we do can be of help? And so we took that approach of getting focus groups of people giving us input. And one of the things that they said to us in the very early stages is, don't start adding more stuff in the auditory sense, because that is being used to get a sense of the perception of the environment. So we said, okay, what might we do to augment the perception? So we said, let's use haptics. Why not we communicate through vibrotactile sensors or actuators, things that will augment their perception.
So give me an example of how that. Are you wearing gloves again, or so, what do you got?
It could be gloves. It could be also a belt that we designed. So let us say you're facing me right now, and my cameras and my glasses recognize and say Ted is in front of you, and then now I want to know how far is Ted from me. Is Ted looking at me? Because I don't want to start conversing with you unless you're looking at me.
Right.
And then let us say you move from here to here, then my vibrotactile motor on my belt will start to vibrate here and then start to vibrate here.
Oh, I got
So
you.
it shows that Ted has moved to your right now. So you turn and then you face and then you start to talk to the person.
That's amazing. But what about if Ted starts frowning, or Ted starts yawning, or starts nodding off because he's bored? I mean, how do you get facial reactions out of this?
That's a very good question, Ted. So what we're doing right now is recognizing these facial expressions by processing the video that we get from the cameras, and then communicating that expressions through various mechanisms. One of the mechanisms is in the chair, you have vibrotactile actuators. I mean, so what you do is you communicate a smile. This person is smiling.
Oh,
Through
goodness
the
gracious.
tactors,
All right.
all
Sure.
fired up like that. Or the person is frowning, so use this emoticons, for example.
I was going to say, you basically got emojis on
Got
your
emojis,
belt,
exactly,
don't you?
yeah.
Are these? Is some of this stuff going to market? I mean, are we seeing some real-world solutions, but a real-world market for this sort of thing?
Correct. So the early stages of the readers that we developed for being able to read documents is something that we have seen the companies pick up and build products around. What we are working on right now is the emotion recognition and communicating through haptics, So we have spun off a company which then is going to look at possibilities of manufacturing this for applications like motor rehabilitation is one application that we are looking at. How might we help people who are injured and who are rehabilitating and motivating them to rehabilitate by stimulating them through these vibrotactile sensors as one such application.
Wow. Well, congratulations on this, and good luck
Thank
with
you.
continued success, because I got a funny idea. Some of these ideas are headed for market, and they're going to be very successful.
We hope so.
Good to see you again.
Thank you so much, Ted, again. Yeah.
We continue our look at veterans issues with a focus tonight on veterans and the healing power of the arts. We're joined by Judy Combs, founder of Scottsdale-based American Healing Arts Foundation, which provides free arts classes for veterans, and Hal Stewart, a veteran and instructor at American Healing Arts Foundation. Good to have you both here. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
American Healing Arts Foundation, what is this, and why did you get this started?
Well, I'm the owner of two businesses that are art related. And of course, when you have your own business, you're working 7 days a week. And one day after I finished, I thought, well, I'm going to quit early. It was like 7 o'clock in the evening. And I sat there and I started thinking about our veterans that are out on maneuvers. They come back. Sometimes it's too late to go in and get something to eat. And those that are sitting out on watch and their heart pounding, I don't know, I just had that evening that it hit me like I need to do something, but I don't have the hours to volunteer. So I talked to my brother and his wife. We have a show that runs for 10 weeks. It's called the Arizona Fine Art Expo. And I said, what if we have some classes here free for the veterans? And that's how it started. And that's our way of saying thank you. And to Hal,
like
a veteran.
Hal,
Yes.
Indeed, Hal, you're a veteran. How did you get involved with the foundation, and talk to us about the difference it's made in your life?
The reason I got involved is Judy is a very, very good friend of mine, and as one of her showing artists there at the show, she asked if I would be interested in teaching veterans, and my answer was, of course, yes. So.
And again, you do sculpture work, correct?
Yes, I'm a sculptor.
I think we have a shot of an amazing piece of work that you have done.
Thank you.
Talk to us about what just the process of making something like this beautiful piece of art. The process, what does it do for you?
Well, this particular piece I made because I was at a Purple Heart convention in Scottsdale. There was a group there who did therapy using horses for the veterans, returning veterans. And it struck me that I need to do something. I like Judy, I felt that I needed to do more than just exist. So this is the way I put together this piece. It started in clay. I went back home, made it in clay, and then I, of course, sent it to my foundry, and they won't go through the bronzing process.
Yeah. But I mean, when you first started doing these sorts of things, obviously everyone starts their art somewhere along the line.
Oh, yes.
Was it a release for you? Was it a way to get rid of thoughts, memory? Talk to us about that.
No, I was sitting home one day. I had retired from construction and had a piece of clay, and I made a head about 2-3 inches tall. A friend came over and said if I would continue finishing the head, put a body underneath it, that he would pay for the casting and buy the first piece. I had nothing to lose. So I'd have a talent that I did not know I had. It was there. It obviously had been dormant for many years in my life. I picked up some clay and a talent came out. And I think that when you're given a talent like that, it's your the responsibility to share that. That's why I want to share with my brothers and sisters who are veterans.
Yeah, it's an interesting point, the artist's responsibility to basically
Yes.
share your art with the world. That's,
Yes.
that's what you're here for. For those who maybe not quite as talented as Hal, but still enjoy dabbling, just enjoy creating, talk about what you've seen with veterans who get involved with the arts.
Oh, the stories are almost draw you to tears. They really do. One veteran, just this last season, he said, "Judy, can I tell you what your classes have done for me?" And I said, "Sure." He said, "First of all, I want to tell you that I was homebound after Vietnam. I was so depressed, and so he spent a lot of, I don't know how many years, but it was a long period of time. One day he thought, well, I'm going to go to VA. So he went to the VA and he spoke with the counselor there. And after he talked to her, she said, "You are so depressed and this and that." She said, "I don't think there's anything we can do for you." Now this was the VA, and I would think maybe it's 5 or 6 years ago. So when he got up, a lady gave him a flyer from American Healing Arts Foundation. He called us. He said, "These classes have done more for me. I have my life back." Stories like that.
I mean, that must make you feel like this is working.
Oh,
this is a good
it
thing.
is working. It is. The stories that we've heard, it's unreal.
As an instructor, who are you seeing out there? When a veteran comes in, looks like maybe there could be some PTSD, just something looks like he needs more grounding, he needs some help, some guidance, something. What do you do?
You basically let them lead you. If they're sort of hesitant to be around people, many people, you don't allow visitors in your classroom. You keep it confined to just the few veterans that are there. We had one lady who was terribly camera shy. I didn't ask her reason, but whenever we had cameras come into our classroom, I told her prior so that she could leave the classroom or she could go sit behind one of the partitions. When they come in, most of them are normal people. They've been through some experiences that you and I would hopefully never have to endure. It's a chance for them to relax and be with their old comrades, their old veteran buddies. It's a chance for them to create, to express themselves. And some of the things we have done out there, like Judy says, it's next to a miracle. Some of the things we've seen happen with some of our veterans.
Oh, that must be fantastic. I would imagine just making art would give a veteran just simple hope, doesn't it?
You have a loss. Your mind just goes peaceful, and you're working on the piece. That's the only thing I can say because I've painted, and I know that I could be worried about things, start painting, and you're lost in that, and it takes them away from the battlefields and just into a peaceful setting. And that's what one of the veterans said to me. When I thanked him for our freedom, and he said, "Well, thank you." He said, "When I'm painting and that," he said, "I forget about being in, on the battlefield and that."
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, just the stories are beautiful.
And as far as when you have someone in your class, I mean, do you find with some veterans they're still in kind of a military mindset where it almost has to be perfect, the job's got to get done, 1, 2, A, B. I mean, do you get a little bit of that?
Yes, and sometimes they drive you nuts, but you tend to put up with it. You have to. But the veterans who come in there, it's their chance to be creative. We have veterans, I don't know whether you knew this or not, we have a World War II veteran.
We have a couple. Yeah.
Couple, and he's 90 some odd years old, and he is so spry, and he doesn't miss one class. He gets there, his wife brings him, and he's probably more active than some of the 50-year-old veterans we have.
It has to be very, very important. Before we go, the message, if some veterans are watching, family members of veterans are watching, and maybe they're at a loss now, they can't figure out the next step, convince them that the arts is something to look into.
Well, it is healing through the arts, and we are drug-free. And we just want an environment that is comfortable, it's friendly, and there's no pressure when they come in. And there's no pressure to be here the next week, but they enjoy it so much, they start to follow us.
Well, a great work and continued
Thank you.
success. Congratulations as well.
Thank you.
Beautiful piece of artwork.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here and for
Thank
your
you.
service.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ted.
Friday on Arizona Horizon, it's the Journalists Roundtable. We'll have the latest on legislative budget negotiations, and we'll take a closer look at what some of those budget proposals are including and leaving out. That's on the next Journalists Roundtable. That is it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your PBS station. Thank you.
There is no need to produce foods yourself to be sure they're all natural. Now there's Open Nature from Albertsons and Safeway, a line of foods made with natural ingredients. Open Nature at Albertsons and Safeway.
Stories of veterans coming home on Arizona PBS are made possible by a grant from CPB, the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.